It's working. Let me just. I don't know. I'm being my own tech support today, so I'm having to slightly multitask. So you're going to have to put up with me trying to. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, here we go. All right, I think everything's wrong. So yes, welcome everybody. Um, my name is Ollie. I'm going to be filling in for Vidyamala this evening on this guided meditation. It's going to be quite light, I think, light and breezy because I've done a lot of talking today and I'm a bit hoarse. And yeah, so I wanted to do a loving kindness practice, to guide a loving kindness practice this evening, and something that comes up a lot in conversations I've had with people um, about loving kindness practice and kind of in groups and things like that has been uh, there's letting people in has been that often when people are doing practice, um, I've often heard reports that people feel like they're not feeling the kind of loving kindness strongly enough. Um, like there should be, if you read a book about loving kindness practice or listen to a guided meditation or something like that, um, there's often sort of descriptions of feeling like this great warmth and kind of and kindness and kind of even a sort of joyfulness and if people are practicing doing these practices and not quite feeling ecstatic or not quite feeling like they're meeting the bar for how they should be feeling in doing loving kindness practice. Something I've heard a few times is that they feel like they must be doing something wrong or they're trying to find some fix for that. So, well, I have a quote actually about it. Let me just start with this. So this is from a quote from Henry David Thoreau, who's a American sort of naturalist and writer, and you're probably most famous for writing Walden, which is about his year that he spent next to Lake Walden, and very living as simply as possible. And there's lots of great quotes from Henry David Thoreau, but this one goes. Let me just read it out. Oops, my screen. Here we go. He says, "Though I do not believe that a plant will spring up where no seed has been, I have great faith in a seed. Convince me that you have a seed, and I am prepared to expect wonders." So I just thought that was a nice, um, a nice note to go on with these kind of loving any practice really, but maybe especially these sorts of loving kindness practice, um, because essentially all we're doing is kind of planting these seeds of intention. We don't need to start off with a kind of big tree. We don't need to start off with this kind of effusive, like really overflowing warmth or kind of love or kind of big, obvious feeling. Um, if that's not there, it could just be a very, very small, could be a very subtle feeling. And that's totally, that's really great. And that's enough to work with. And even if that's not there, if there's no feeling at all, you can just be just planting these seeds of intention. Um, so yes, I kind of wanted to do a maybe a low expectations loving kindness practice, or where you have permission to not feel anything in particular. Um, yeah, just very kind of simple and planting these seeds. So yeah, we'll meditate for about 20 minutes, I think. So if you want to find a comfortable, comfortable position to meditate in if you don't already not already in one. Going off, closing the eyes if you're comfortable doing that. You take a couple of deep breaths and just feeling into the body to start off with. Just getting a sense of how this body is feeling right now. And then starting off with this very simple practice of kindness towards yourself, which is just noticing if there's any tension, any tightness in the body, just allowing that to relax. And the body naturally wants to relax. Just allowing that to happen, noticing very simply that it feels good to let go of that. If there's any tension. Feeling the breath, the body, and seeing if you breathe, seeing if you can hold the body just in a way that is this simple kindness, simple extension of well wishing towards your own body, just holding it in a way that's comfortable, breathing in a way that's comfortable. So, feeling the breath in the body, seeing if you can saturate the breath with an attitude of kindness or warmth. So if there's anything about your current experience that feels good, if there's any pleasantness, if you can just tune into that. Maybe it feels good just to feeling of the breath in the body, be the warmth in your hands, be having just a quiet space for a little while. And just appreciating that really basic act of kindness for yourself. Just to sit and breathe, just to notice what feels good, or even just what feels okay. Even just that is a very simple expression of kindness to yourself. If there's any sense of warmth, kindness, just holding space for that experience, holding that within awareness, even if it's very subtle, very small. So now, calling to mind the image of a friend, somebody towards whom you find it generally quite easy to feel loving kindness. Just noticing if there's any resonance in the body, any natural feeling of warmth or well wishing towards this friend. And you call them to mind, give them. even without needing to apply any intentions particularly. And if there is, then just holding that feeling, seeing how lightly you can bring effort to this practice. So if there's again, any feeling of warmth or pleasantness, you could imagine that you could transmit it to your friend, like via Bluetooth, sending them that well-being, well-wishing. And now letting that image of your friend go and calling to mind image of somebody who you don't feel very strongly about one way or the other. Could be somebody who you just recognize from the local post office, postman, anybody who doesn't trigger much of a reaction. And just noticing, before even applying any intentions, applying any effort in particular, I'm just looking for it. Sometimes you can find just a very simple sense of well wishing, a sense that you wouldn't want to see this person harmed, you wouldn't want to see them in pain. It doesn't need to be really big, obvious, overwhelming feeling of love or anything like that. It's just a very basic concern for well-being of another living thing. And if there's not much going on, you could just very lightly introduce that intention of well wishing. I think if there was some ability to do this person very simple kindness or a simple favor, something that would make their lives a little bit easier, you would do it. And again, you could just imaginatively picture transmitting them any feeling of pleasantness or warmth that they're that's currently present for you. So letting go of that person, and now calling to mind somebody who maybe you find a little bit harder to be around, maybe who triggers some difficult, unpleasant emotions in you. Doesn't have to be anybody too hard to work with. You don't have to go right to the top of the shelf. It's just somebody who maybe you find a little bit difficult, calling them to mind. And you could reflect that just like you, they have difficulties, they have pleasures and pains. They want things in life they can't get. Or lose things that they love. And again, just noticing if there's any resonance, any concern for that well-being of the other. You might reflect that even if you find them difficult, maybe you wouldn't intentionally make their lives harder. Even in there is a little seed of well wishing. Again, if you find it helpful, you could imagine sending to them feelings of pleasantness or warmth. There are any that are present in experience at the moment. You don't have to condone the actions of this person, to wish them well. They're just a product of their circumstances. They didn't choose to be born in the situation, the body with the genes that they were born with. If you were born as them, then you would also be them. Just recognizing that shared desire for well-being. And just before we wrap up the meditation, just expanding the circle of well-wishing out from yourself, a friend, neutral person, difficult person, all of us sitting in the moment doing this meditation, and out further, people living near you, further and further out, until you imagining sending this sense of well-being to everyone alive at the moment, everybody yet to be born in the future, animals, all sentient life, even aliens if there are aliens on other planets. You want to get a bit sci-fi. May they all be well. Then in your own time, bring your meditation to a close. A bit of a stretch. Roll your fingers and toes. Open your eyes if you have them closed. Great. So I would love to check in with everybody to find out how that was for you, how you're feeling. Um, but unfortunately, I do have to take off pretty pronto. Um, so I'm sorry that I can't take as much time as Vidyamala usually does to check in with you um, afterwards and say a proper goodbye and everything. Um, but yeah, I hope that was hope you got some value from that. And yeah, thanks everybody for coming and listening. And may you be well. And I think it will be Sona who will be taking the session next week. So yeah, I'll be back on tech support. So yeah, thanks again for coming, and yeah, have a good week until next time. Take care, everyone. Thanks for all the nice chat messages that are coming up. I am reading them all.